Snake Eyes is not a great movie. The camera work is clunky, the editing leaves a lot to be desired, and the heroes of G.I. Joe and the villains of Cobra are used sparingly, to the point where we only really see one member of each group. However, there certainly was some potential to this story, as well as a unique direction to take this franchise. For a movie based on a toy line, it has come remarkably far, and Snake Eyes should be recognized for trying to weave something a little different than the previous interpretations. So here's a mild defense of why Snake Eyes is not so much a good movie, but rather a good concept that shouldn't be wholly discounted. The G.I. Joe cartoon of the mid-1980s followed a pretty simple action premise. G.I. Joe is a paramilitary organization of niche-skilled commandos, while Cobra is an underground terrorist organization determined to rule the world. It's a simple cartoon premise of heroes versus villains. I grew up with this show, and there's still a soft spot in my heart for this absurd little cartoon. 21st century interpretations of G.I. Joe in movies and animation have tried to shift making the themed villain organization of Cobra seem more believable. One common retooling has been to post Cobra as more of a conglomerate that operates secretly as a terrorist organization. In the 2009 film The Rise of Cobra, the organization of Mars is a weapons manufacturer for NATO, but the Mars leader of James McCullen, aka Destro, plans to use this tech of nanomachines and warheads to hold the world hostage for complete control. And then he sorta forms Cobra. By the sequel, however, Cobra is pretty much the standard terrorist organization of the cartoons. In the 2010 animated series G.I. Joe Renegades, this idea of turning Cobra into a corporation is taken one step further. Cobra, in this cartoon, is not just a terrorist operation masquerading as a business, but a highly regarded corporation by the name of Cobra Industries. G.I. Joe, in this cartoon, is not a paramilitary organization, but instead recognized as a group of terrorists for trying to strike out against Cobra as a company, once they realize that they're up to sinister plans. Renegades is such an underrated series for this angle. It portrays the Joes as a ragtag group of fugitives that you're really rooting for, while Cobra is a corporate monolith that is not only covering up terrorist operations, but has the public support to pit the rest of the world against the Joes. In Snake Eyes, however, Cobra goes back to just being a terrorist organization, and G.I. Joe is pretty much a paramilitary group. That being said, both are posed in a rather unique way. Both organizations seem to operate from the shadows to wage a war so secret that they hardly seem as present in the affairs of the film. Rather, they act as secret groups that either take advantage of others or come to their aid when asked. Want to stage a terrorist event to swing an election in your favor? Then you call Cobra. Need some help getting the Yakuza off your back? You call the G.I. Joes. Cobra is called upon in the movie for enacting revenge. Revenge plays a central role in the film and is actually given a lot more thought than I expected. The titular hero of Snake Eyes is a criminal/warrior who is bound by revenge. At a young age, he witnessed his dad being murdered by unknown assassins, and devotes his entire life to finding out who they are. He's willing to work with the Yakuza to accomplish this goal, including taking on their task of infiltrating a Japanese clan of the Arashikage to steal some mystical MacGuffin. The Yakuza who wants this powerful item is Kenta Takamura, a cousin of the Arashikage who wants to take control of the clan that he was kicked out of. Snake Eyes will also meet Tommy, a bitter member of the clan who wants to be taken seriously and also assume full control of the clan and its many powers. Similarly, the Arashikage's head of security, Akiko, also desires more respect and aims to find a way of proving herself. All of these characters are driven by a certain sense of revenge, but those who succumb to its brutal end ultimately go down darker paths. Eventually, Snake Eyes catches up with the man who murdered his father after realizing he was working through both the Yakuza and Cobra to accomplish this. Before he decides to take this man's life, however, Snake Eyes asks who ordered the hit on his father, and is told the truth that Cobra was behind the murder of his father, who just happened to be a G.I. Joe living off the grid. Realizing he'd been manipulated this whole time, Snake Eyes decides not to kill the assassin, and set his sights on those who took advantage of his desire for revenge. So here's what I kinda dug about the film. Action films that depict revenge usually tend to play into the angle of a revenge fantasy. In revenge fantasy films, lethal revenge is not only presented as the unshakable goal for the hero, but often showcased to be the right action that will lead to satisfaction. Please note that these base depictions of revenge don't make these action movies bad. They just don't really have much to say on the nature of revenge on a deeper level past just beating the bad guys. But Snake Eyes is a film that actually tries to make a moral point that blind revenge is a damaging motive. Without questioning his actions, the hero almost ends up letting the Yakuza and Cobra get away with their plans, because both have taken advantage of his rage for their own gains. The world won't be a better place if Snake Eyes kills his father's killer. It will only get worse as organizations like Cobra better profit off such destruction. By the end of the film, Kenta is comically killed by a giant snake, and Tommy is kicked out of the Arashikage for trying to use the power of a magic stone that he was forbidden to wield. Cobra also commissions Tommy to become Storm Shadow, further showcasing how the terrorist group can always find allies in those who want revenge. Snake Eyes, having shed his desire for revenge, finally turns his focus towards the bigger enemy of Cobra. He also finally puts on that costume that everyone was hoping that he would wear, since that's what everyone associates with Snake Eyes, which is probably too little too late for fans since he didn't really wear it until the end of the film. My other praises for the picture are mostly minor. The fight choreography is cool, for what little you can see of it. The shooting and editing around those scenes, however, are, well, sloppy. I did, however, really dig watching Samara Weaving play Scarlet, and Ursula Cabero as the Baroness. I enjoyed their performances for the brief times that they had on screen. There are also some really neat sets as well. I particularly dug the Arashikage Vault with its seemingly endless rows of lanterns. But with all of that cast aside, yeah, Snake Eyes has a lot of problems. The direction style is a bit all over the place, the acting is wooden at times, the camera work is just really weird, and the special effects of giant snakes and magic stones just feels pretty jarring at times. And sure, when you kind of get down to the nuts and bolts of it, it doesn't really feel like a G.I. Joe movie. But really, speaking as someone who is a fan of the G.I. Joe cartoon, I honestly don't find that to be a hindrance. Franchises that linger for decades are bound to receive some reboot or retooling if they hope to remain relevant. And G.I. Joe is no stranger to this concept. G.I. Joe Renegades is hardly like the original cartoon at all, and that show is awesome. While Hasbro does seem to be moving forward with more G.I. Joe movies in the same tone and setting as Snake Eyes, I hope that the right things will be learned from this film. Because honestly, my only real qualms are with the direction, because the script itself is actually pretty good. So yeah, Snake Eyes is not all that bad. It may not have quite lived up to what it could have been, but hey, it tried. And I'll gladly take a G.I. Joe film that's willing to try something new and take risks over a safe bet any day of the week. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.